by you. I'll be your everything, your blue sky. I go to war, fight. Damn right. Even when I've left, I do right.
Welcome back to the Professional Stepdad Show. I am your host, Franco Zavala. This is episode 128 of the show. Thank you very much for joining, for listening, for watching, for always coming back and for being here. Today's episode is going to be a little. Basically, this is what today's episode is. Usually, I have like an entire layout of what I want to talk about and what I want to discuss. But today, I want to really just dive into these comments that have been left on the short videos that I've been putting up on YouTube. And the reason that I want to read these to you guys is because I do get a lot of great comments. I get a lot of great messages, a lot of great, tags on different posts where people not only are encouraging what I'm doing, but I don't want to use the word praising, but they're giving me praise a little bit about speaking specifically towards men, stepdads in general. But I always think that it's fun, and today's going to be fun because I'm going to read back some of these questions and not even questions, some of these comments that have been left on my YouTube page. And if you have not subscribed yet, go to YouTube, find us, the Professional Stepdad Show. Make sure you hit that notification button so you know when we're going to be posting new episodes, and got a lot of really cool things coming up. I wish I could share everything with you guys, but it'll all be coming soon. So again, it's going to be the first comment. This is left on one of my videos. Said, "Stepdads, tell your haters to step aside." Now, when I made this video, it was real specific about what I was saying. Meaning, as you move forward and as you progress forward through your step parenting journey, you are going to have a lot of individuals, family members and friends alike, who will secretly try to sabotage your progress, or they will publicly try to sabotage your progress. And, we see that a lot in blended families where maybe there's a disgruntled bio parent or disgruntled family member who just really doesn't agree with you doesn't agree with who you are. Maybe you have a situation like myself where I grew up with my wife. So when I became the stepdad, when I stepped into my blended family, people immediately began to judge me based off of who I was when I was growing up. And I was a knucklehead, right? I was one of those. So I got into a lot of trouble. So I don't know if they didn't think that I was worthy, I was able to handle 5 kids, but they definitely didn't have any confidence in me whatsoever. So that's why I made that video for your haters. Listen, we're here. And for those of us who really want to be those of us who are really doing the work and putting in the time to become better men, leaders, and fathers for our blended family, we aren't going anywhere. And no matter which way you pull, no matter how hard you try, it's just not going to work. I mean, we're not there. We're there for our partner. We're there for the kids. We're there for the relationships. We're there because we know that we are helping guide young adults as they move forward in their life. So that's why, that's what the video is about. Step aside. So one of the first comments was, "Not every step something or step something whatevers," meaning, I think they're trying to say step mom and dads, but anyway, "Not every step something whatevers need to be stepped on and smacked on." So immediately I was kind of taken back by that, why does he feel like the step something or step something whatevers need to be smacked on? So I, of course, responded, and I don't respond I don't attack anybody. I'll never attack anybody for their comments or for their posts, from something that they leave on one of my videos, because everybody's got an opinion, and I don't want to try to argue against the narrative that you have. It's impossible. I learned from a very early stage of being a stepdad is that what I learned was you cannot argue against the current narrative that your haters will have about you. And until they choose to change, or until they seek to find reasons why they have such a problem with you, it doesn't matter what you say, it doesn't matter what you post, it'll just consistently be a fight, and it'll just only further poison your blended family life. So, but we need to, step up something to whatever we need to be smacked on. So my reply was something like, sounds like you have a few issues to deal with, and I hope you're well. And their response to me was, I've never had a step anything, LO. I just know that a lot of people, a lot of stepdads and stepmoms that don't take the role as genuinely as or as responsibly or respectfully as they portray it should be. And I think it is wrong and they need to be smacked upside the head or just don't be a step anything, which then I agreed with. Like, first and foremost, just want to make myself clear. He said, or she said, I don't know, he said, about being, step something, whatever's need to be smacked on it. And I didn't agree. I thought it was a little aggressive, but then I understood where he was coming from. Although he's never had a step anything, he may have dealt with it, or maybe somebody in his life was a step something, mom or father, and they didn't take the role serious. They took advantage of the family, they took advantage of the kids, of the mom, of the scenario, the circumstance, the situation. Maybe they left them high and dry, and that's why they have such a bad taste in their mouth. And so then I agree with that. Those individuals, because there are a lot of us out there that stepped into our blended families with purpose and with intent of being great in mind. And there are also a lot of step moms and dads that step into blended families kind of one foot out the door, and they don't really give a shit what happens, and they don't care how they handle certain situations because they know that they're not DNA tied to anything and they can walk away. So because of that, they put a lot of bad tastes in mouths of people, of families that really deserve to have somebody step in and to help out and to be there and to listen and to become, sort of a key component as they move forward. So anyway, the reason I started off with that one is because he isn't a step mom, or he is not a stepdad, but maybe he's dealt with it, and I agreed with it. And I agree with it because I believe that there are individuals out there that are in a blended family that don't need to be there. For a lot of men, we tend to get ourselves into situations and we don't want to be there, but we stay because our pride just doesn't allow us to just simply cut ties and walk away. And I know in the beginning it would be hard to do, especially a mom and the kids. But in the long run, it's going to help them out because it's going to free up her heart. It's going to free up time for the family to heal. And more important, you no longer have any connection to them and you don't have to worry and stress yourself out about it anymore. So there are a lot of step parents out there that need to be smacked on and smacked the fuck out of there. That's just the bottom line. This is another one off the stepdads tell your haters step aside. That's cool, but also remember stepdads need to also know their roles, boundaries, etc. That's cool you stepped into a situation where someone else is ex, but if kids are involved and the real dad is still involved, step aside and let the real dad take care of their kids. I 100% agree. Step in once in the, you can step in, key quote unquote of that, once the real dad says it's okay. Remember that. Agreed. I think he was trying to make a point there and a statement, like know your place. In no way, shape, or form in the video that I made did I say my place was above the bio-dads. Listen, if bio-dad and mom are getting along and the situation is that he has him a certain amount of time and mom has him a certain amount of time and you're a stepdad and you stepped into the family and bio-dad's still there, still a dad that shows up, that wants to be there, that doesn't talk shit behind your back and try to undermine everything that you're trying to accomplish within your family and meaning like within your home, I agree. Step aside. It's dad's job. I would never take that away from anything. I would never even advocate that that's an okay thing to do. But remember this though. The narrative that needs to change around stepdads is that we are not there to discipline, and the generations that have this problem in their head believe that the stepmom or dad, when they discipline, they're like some sort of an abuser, or they cross lines and they're stepping on toes and they're aggressive.
No more hangers!
That's just not fucking true. And that is that stupid, that's the narrative that's bouncing around in the heads of a lot of individuals from that generation who believe that just because a stepdad or a stepmom steps in and they want to parent, that means to discipline and to hit and to spank. And we're not in that era anymore. You gotta fucking move on already. You gotta let that shit go. But again, agreed. Dad's in the picture and stepdad's also in the picture. They need to learn how to work as a cohesive group. Because remember, you're raising young adults. You're raising your kids to be productive and qualified young adults that are both mentally and physically ready to challenge for the challenges of the world. So undermining each other at every turn and cut and sticking a knife in each other's backs is just not a good idea, which is why you got to get on the same page. So again, I know his statement was supposed to be like, but it made sense to me. Sadly not, this is another one. Sadly not always, my old stepdad wanted nothing to do with us. All he wanted was cash from my mother and other things. I don't want to really say it. And after he stopped getting what he wanted, he cheated on her. I wish you said was always true, but life's a bitch sometimes. Agreed. And this is what I just talked about. There are men and women who step into a family. They're there for just horrible, evil fucking reasons. They see a vulnerable individual in a situation and they take advantage of it. That is true for every aspect in all of life. And we got to make sure that we are aware of that. We got to make sure we are aware when that happens. It's our job and our responsibility to fucking speak and to speak out against individuals that are going through that. Because I can tell you right now, if I saw it, if I found myself in a situation or I knew of a situation or somebody had told me about a situation where stepdad or mom were just evil fucking people who are just taking advantage of an individual or the kids who find themselves in a vulnerable situation, I will lose my fucking shit and I will speak out against it. And I will make sure that everybody and their mothers know what's going on, because that is our responsibility. It's our responsibility, not just as parents and as step parents and as bio parents and as adults, but it's our responsibility as humans to make sure that we are always looking out for one another. So keep that in mind. Listen to this stupid comment. This one says, I mean, if you want to go ahead and spend money on a wife and kid that aren't yours, and that was a very sarcastic manner, you're an idiot. You think that individuals, a new wife or stepkids can be monetized, meaning you could place a money value on them. It's not about spending money on anybody. It's about spending time, building relationships. And again, this is an individual who he's just, right? He's got a, what do you call that? Not a mask on. He's got a fucking, you know what I mean? Like he can't see 2 feet in front of his face. So I get comments like that all the time. It's funny. This is an interesting one. This is another video I made called Stepdads Celebrate the Wins and Acknowledge the Sacrifices. It's important. You got to celebrate your wins, acknowledge the sacrifices. You have to learn as you go, make adjustments and keep moving. Like you can't be happy where you are. You can't like plant your flag in the ground and say, that's it. I don't need to climb any higher than this mountain, because that's not true. You got to keep moving. So this says, my father told me and my siblings that we were the reason he and his mom didn't have anything. Both are gone now, but we were raised intentionally in a small town. It takes a village with no regrets. He raised me to be smart, and mom raised me to lead, follow, and get out of the way. Dynamic duo with high anxiety kids, but not changing for nothing. We were the reason he and his mom didn't have anything. Look, you can't hold grudges against kids because you're not financially where you would like to be in your life. I don't care if you're a step parent or a real parent. It's not your kid's fault. Now, are kids fucking expensive? Yeah, they're extremely expensive, but it's not their fault. You know what I mean? Like, it's not their responsibility to make sure that you are following your dreams and your goals. And I know you can say like, well, when I had kids, I let go of my dreams and I had to get to work. And that's just also just a fucking coward's way out. You could, I can push that all day. I can push the whole, you can be what you want to be and do what you want to do. And that's also not the truth, because you can't. If you can't mentally prepare yourself, if you're not mentally ready, if you haven't done the self-work, you can't be anything you want to do. You can't go after what you want, because you will consistently find reasons why you're not worthy to do that. You will find reasons why that you could push it to the side or push it off till later. And that's the facts. That's a much deeper conversation, and I can't get into it right now. Okay, listen to this. Stepdads, don't give up 3 feet from gold. Okay, that's another video I made. Meaning, it's a story where during the gold rush, there was a group that were digging and digging and digging. They just couldn't find gold. They couldn't strike gold, and they wanted to give up. So they said, we're done. And they sold the land to somebody else for very cheap. And that person ended up digging, I think it was 3 feet to the left or something, and found a vein of gold and they struck it rich. Point is just because you're digging and you don't find anything, you're putting in all the work and you're doing all the time, you're putting all the energy and effort in, and maybe the kids aren't valuing you yet. Maybe you don't feel like you're valued in the home. Maybe you don't feel like you're loved, or you have, you have your footing in your blended family. Doesn't mean you stop digging. I mean, because that thing that could change your life forever could be 3 feet to the left, right, or behind you. Got to maintain awareness when it comes to that. So this video I made was don't give up 3 feet from gold. And this individual says, okay, nice of you to make generalizations about an entire group of people whom you don't know and of whom don't know the individuals. What the fuck are you talking about? Don't stop 3 feet from gold, and you think I'm being specific on an entire group of people? Who? The people that quit? If my video made you feel a certain way, and you think that that I'm generalizing an entire group of people, do you mean the people that fucking quit because it gets too hard? Do you mean the people that fucking quit because, they don't want to keep going? They want to go take the easier way out. They just want to pack up their shit and go home. If that's what you mean, then I'm being fucking very specific about them. And if that made you feel a certain way, good. Maybe that'll wake you the fuck up. All right, here we go. Okay, good. That was a positive one that I read. So again, this is really what I have a lot of these wows, and I have another person on here that literally said the best thing about being in a blended family. Or here's a list of the positives about being in a blended family, and there was nothing after it. That is somebody again that needs to. Here's a list of benefits of raising another man's child, and then nothing after it. You're a fucking idiot too. I don't think you understand. It's not about raising another man's child. This is not about raising another woman's child. This is about our responsibility as humans to one another, to make sure that we can maintain a certain level of freaking acceptance with one another and to help each other out. When we start getting cynical and we start judging and analyzing everything for what it's not or what we think it could be, that's when civilization fucking breaks down. And we can't do that. And, I know that the narrative around step parents can be ones of some individuals that are abusive or alcoholics, or they leave, or they manipulate or cheat, or whatever it might be. That narrative sucks. It's a narrative that's going to be very hard to overcome and to change, and that is my purpose. And the reason that I'm choosing to go after and to try to change that narrative, it's real simple. The reason I'm doing it is because there are going to be men after me that are going to step into a blended family, and they're going to be looking for resources. They're going to be looking for reasons why people are treating them a certain way, or why they can't find or yeah, I guess the word is find, yeah. And the reason why they can't find others who are speaking out positively against it, it's simply because of the narrative. And my purpose is to change that. So again, these are just a few of the videos or the comments that are left. There are a lot of negative ones, but there are also a lot of positive ones too. And I love those. And I don't need to read about those because those aren't just for me. Those are just an indicator to me that I got to keep moving forward. I got to keep pushing. So just like I said in one of my videos, if you're a hater, step the fuck aside. It ain't gonna work. Doesn't matter what you do. Trust me. All right, guys, that was episode 129 of the show. I'm blessed, happy, grateful, and thankful for each and every one of you for listening. I know today's episode was a little bit of a rant, a little bit of a read, and a little bit of off script. But hey, you need that. You need it off script. You can't always be not scripted, because I don't think I'm fucking scripted. But you can't always. You gotta sometimes follow your gut. You know. Till next time. Be well. Hey, thanks for listening to the show. Listen, if you know a stepdad who is in need of any of this information, do me a favor right now. Hit that subscribe button and share this episode with them as fast as possible. Did you do it? You did it.
Quiet on the set, please. Thank you, everybody.